Thank you so much, Phil. I think Phil saved the best for the last. No, I'm just kidding. It was a joke. All other presenters were phenomenal. Thank you. I've been glued to the screen. I really want to take this opportunity to thank Phil for this and everyone else who presented today. They were phenomenal. Thank you. Okay, so I appreciate it. Let me share my screen. Please let me know if you are able to see or not able to see so that I can redo it.
Yep, we can see your screen. Yep.
Great. Thank you so much. Let me pull this screen over. Man, there's no ending to learning. Even I'm watching this, I contributed to my knowledge through other presenters. Thank you once again, Phil, for the opportunity. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Frank Alparslan. I have a PhD in aviation and aeronautics studies. So today I'll be looking at, I'm a senior lecturer at University of Northampton. Today I'll be looking at things like AI, how we use and implement AI in MSc Aviation, Air Logistics, and Supply Chain Management. Thank you for staying since I have the last slot of the day. I really appreciate it. In this short talk, I'm going to share some early insights from using generative AI with students in MSc Aviation and Air Logistics Management, and I will focus on what we are actually doing in class, how students are responding, what benefits they are getting, do they have any problems, and what we plan to address those. Uh, I'll briefly set the context for MSc program and our students and explain how we are using generative AI, like I mentioned, early observations, challenges, guardrails, especially around assessment and integrity. I'm also an academic integrity officer, which I love my job, but the students who come to me are students who actually did something wrong. I'm sure everybody get the point. Even though I love my job, sometimes it's difficult because some of those students I know, and they feel bad for having done so. It's like they regret it, but there's no going back. So basically, I'll be looking at how we implement this into these modules. Now, our main setting is the postgraduate. I prefer MSc programs, not because I see myself on the top of the Everest, absolutely not. But I feel like the MSc aviation programs are one step before these students become executives or employees of airlines or future pilots, or hold important positions in aviation industry. So basically, I see myself the last stepping stone for them to be able to move on and progress in their careers. Just like one of the previous gentlemen lecturers who said, almost all my students are international. I do have home students too, don't get me wrong, but almost all of them are international. So it's a mix of students who work in industry. We have, students who are actually 100% physically working in aviation and or in logistics companies, and come and take evening classes so that they can progress in their careers and add another diploma. Now, English is, as I say, stated, since most of my students are international, is a second language to most of them. So AI use for them, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. Because in the past, I'm a dinosaur. I did use Google Translate, yes, I admit, but I don't use it anymore because we have AI. AI does everything. AI can translate from Mandarin to Italian, from Italian to Greek, from Greek to Armenian, from Armenian to Azerbaijani, from Azerbaijani to Turkish, to English, German, French, Italian, you name it. So basically, AI is doing everything now. Now we must have AI a part of our lives because it is making life simpler. So basically, the modules I'm teaching, I'm teaching groups, I'm teaching individuals, and I implement practice-based assessments for airlines and logistics, so that the students are not only feeling the need to translate it, use AI to translate from their own language, but they also feel the need to look for information in AI. One of the previous lecturers today also mentioned the institutions strongly advise the students and us to tell the students to use Microsoft Copilot, but students still use ChatGPT too, which is the most dominant AI at the moment overall. Now, we don't want the students to outsource their thinking to the tool. We want instead, what I do with them is want them to see AI as a thinking partner. Even we use AI. No lecturer here or anywhere else in the world can say, hey, I never used AI before. We don't believe it. 100% I'll be the first one who's not going to believe it because I use it too, but I don't use it to tell me how to teach. I use it to generate ideas so I can be more creative, so I can put more pressure in a good way, please, in a good way, on more pressure on my students, because life is not easy. When they move on to corporate world, they see that life in classroom is absolutely not the same as what it is in the corporate world, in the office, in the cockpit, in the cabin, in the hospital, NHS, wherever they choose to work. But since my major is in aviation logistics, and these companies only want to employ the most hardest working graduates. So I purposely put pressure on my students to make them feel the real life stress because money making is not easy. So AI generates ideas for me to come up with these new creative ways for students, not only in class but at home. They also still have to work hard to meet the assessment brief. We also align with the university guidance on AI. Like I said, all universities, I think, pretty much want their students to use Microsoft Copilots, but students still use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a little bit broader, but still we can't tell them not to use it because they will say, I didn't use ChatGPT. How can we prove it? Um, in my field, Airbus, Boeing 777, Boeing 787, and other modern wide bodies are already remarkable machines. But Airbus 350 definitely is way ahead of its game. It's considered to be far, far ahead of its game in this era. And with the enhanced avionics architecture and deeper system integration, um, we must use AI because the Airbus is 100% computer. Like Airbus is an airplane that can fly on its own, but we still need at least two pilots in the cockpit. But that's another matter for another discussion. We have live demonstrations, for example, asking AI to explain a concept or design a scenario, even in the simulator. I'm sure everybody knows what a simulator is. We have simulators for future pilots where they sit and they simulate an example like a really bad weather, a hurricane. How do you go around it? You can't go through it because it will damage the airplane and then you go down. We don't want that. So we generate scenarios. AI helps us generate these scenarios. A human mind is designed to fulfill so many of these things, but AI is unlimited. It doesn't have to think, it's already in there. All it does, it just select the idea and give it to us. That's why the answers are so quick. And then you create draft scenarios, like I said, and then we use AI to refine research questions. Also for my field, we generate questions for future for MSc dissertations and PhD thesis. So what we do is we generate questions for them to find answers to which have not been addressed before. I'm conscious of the time. Now, a lot of the things that students are looking at here is uh, they are less interested in am I allowed to use it than how do I use it properly. A lot of the students want to use AI to fit their agenda, but the real question, ethical question here should be, am I allowed to use it? What we do in our modules is we sign, we tell the students that, hey, if you are using this, you accept that you are using AI, and if you get caught plagiarism, you will have to come before the committee and answer. We allow it only for ideas. We don't allow it for copy and paste or generate the entire text or assignment for the students. AI is helpful for rapid idea generation, drafting and redrafting, and ethical the discussions are also important here, like automation, safety, and future work of aviation and logistics. We have to take into consideration, like, what is missing, what is wrong. But I love this. But would I rely 100% on it? No, I still have to use my own conscience, my own ways of getting out of accidents, which one happened yesterday in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, United States. UPS MD-11 crashed, by the way. I'll get to it in just a second. I got 30 seconds, but I'll ask for 2 more minutes if I may. Key challenges here is over-reliance. Yes, students are over-reliant on AI. Yes, they do, because they think that AI has answers to everything. AI doesn't have feelings. With all due respect to computer scientists here, AI people here, AI does not have feelings. So the only way to get out of a crash situation where you know you're going home to see your wife and kids, or you're going to afterlife, is your conscience of staying alive. AI doesn't have this feeling. AI doesn't have this feeling of staying alive and going home to see his wife or kids. Well, I'm a man, that's why I said wife. You could say husband. So basically, overconfidence, over relying on AI is not a good thing. We must not over rely on it. We must still use our own conscience, own feelings, own judgments. The tweaks here we have is clear use of AI statements, use declaration. Even us as lecturers, when I enter a student's dissertation or assess assignment into ChatGPT, I must get permission, or I must delete their names from the assignment. Otherwise, they can come back and say, "Hey, I didn't ask you to install or submit my stuff into AI, where the whole world can see it." So basically, it's also a breach. So we must also be careful as lecturers. Early lessons, start small. Make sure your model of use is critical of AI in front of the classroom, and make sure everybody understands the rules and regulations. Share examples and prompts from first day of class. I let all my students know, and I record it, and then I share it on my platform so that they cannot say I didn't hear it or I wasn't in class, which will be in the video. Looking ahead, what I want to say here, I want to say that uh, structured feedback to students are very important. That's what I plan to do. Map AI use across modules in aviation, transport, and air logistics. I already implement that. Assessment design is exactly how I do it. I let them use AI for generating ideas, not for writing the entire thing. Aviation is an ever-changing industry, and it requires us lecturers to update and upgrade our knowledge on a daily basis. Accidents do happen, which one happened yesterday. Unfortunately, hopefully, nobody died. We don't know the results yet, but we will find out soon. In Louisville, Kentucky, which is a logistics company, UPS, MD McDonald crash. Like I said, AI is great. We need it, and this is it. Thank you. I'll stop here. I'm not going to exceed.